Hey everyone, Cerebral Tackle back with you again today, and today we have something very special, or at least to me, very near and dear to my heart. You know, everybody remembers their first fish, right? And a lot of people remember the very first lure they ever caught a fish on. This happened for me at 10 years old on the Saturday prior to Easter weekend. Where are we at now? Saturday prior to Easter weekend. So, it's the anniversary of my catching my very first fish ever on a lure. Now, they don't make this specific color anymore, although they do make the same model. So, we're going to recreate it for you today here at Cerebral Tackle. You know me, I'm always up for a story. I'll try to make this one quick. So, 10 years old, Saturday before Easter Sunday, my mother and I go fishing out of the lake on a fishing barge. And my mother had went and purchased some bait the night before. The guy at the bait shop showed her a lure that said this new color was all the craze, tearing up fish everywhere she had to buy it. So she brought one home to me. So she got the lure home, showed it to me. I immediately fell in love. I believed all the hype right out of the bat. So much so, I took my fishing rod, went into the bathroom, filled the tub up with water, and started playing with this thing to try to get the blade to spin at just the right speed, figuring out exactly what retrieve I needed to use. Now, some of you guys might have got the hint in the thumbnail as to what this bait is. Let's just say on the back of the package, they say reel it as slow as you can, and then when you get there, reel it slower. Yes, we're talking about a Blakemore Roadrunner. So we get out to the barge, we start fishing. There's a nice gentleman beside me that's fishing with a crappie jig. He catches a decent crappie. When he pulls it up, he needs a pair of forceps. He sees one with my bag. He asks if he can borrow them. He says, you know what? If you let me borrow your forceps, I'll show you what color I'm using. I'd already kind of spied a little bit, but I wanted to be sure. So I hand him the forceps, he pops the jig out of the fish's mouth, and sure as heck, it's the same color pattern as the Roadrunner my mother had purchased the night before. I am eager. I can't wait. I already had it tied on. I grab my spinning rod, go down to the end of this long pier that's attached to the side of the barge, and just start chunking and winding this dadgum Roadrunner. I fished out there for a couple of 3 hours with no luck. Finally, I got down to the brass tacks and said, you know what? If I don't catch a fish in the next 3 casts or so, I'm going to give up. I'd been trying for a long time to catch a fish on lure. I'd caught plenty of fish on natural and live bait, don't get me wrong. For some reason, using a lure was just escaping me. I wasn't using the right thing. I didn't have the right knowledge, the right teachers to kind of lead me down the path. Now, sooner or later, folks would start to take me under their wing and teach me, and I'm grateful to this day. I wouldn't be the angler I am today if it wasn't for that. But at this point in time, I knew nothing. So I said 3 more casts. I got down to that last cast, and I was bummed. Here I had this wonderful lure that everyone said they were catching tons of fish on, and I had nothing. As that cast gets about halfway back to me, I feel a thunderous thump. I set the hook, get him in. As he gets close, I realize, wait a minute, I just came back from trout fishing. I've only got 4-pound line on this reel. So I back off the drag a little bit, right? Fight him, get him in. It's a solid 2-pound white bass, or sandbass as they're called in some areas. That's a beautiful barn door slab sized sandbass. Anybody that fishes for him knows that's a behemoth. Now, having conquered that, having my very first fish on a lure, I was re-energized. Kept casting and ended up with a couple of more. All the same size. Right at 1.5 pound, 2-pound, barn door sized white bass. On the way home, I fell asleep over in the passenger seat. My mother said I went to sleep with a smile on my face. I bet she's right. Now, what did this do? Oh, this set off a chain reaction. Today, I am a full full-fledged tackle addict. Trust me. I love finesse baits. I love JDM. Of course, I was a tournament angler for 18 years. Love crappie, love trout, love walleye, multi-species, even some catfish thrown in there. Big bluegill when I get the chance. I love it all. But lures, tackle, organization, that's what that set into motion that day. All it took is gaining confidence that once. And you know, they say that confidence is the best bait you have in your box, and it's true. Yes, it's a little cliche. But trust me, if you're getting into this for the first time, all it takes is one. You get that first fish on a lure, live bait, what have you, you're hooked. As you learn, as you progress, your confidence will grow. Here's the rub. TTI Blakemore Corporation, the wonderful, wonderful creators of the Roadrunner, the first underspin, they don't make this specific pattern anymore. They make one close. What they make now is like a red-green, kind of a green chartreuse tail. So red head, green body, kind of a green chartreuse tail. They don't make this original color anymore, which was a red head, a green body, and a yellow tail. So I want to fish one for my anniversary. I gathered the supplies. Let's make one. Alrighty folks, as you can see, I have my 1/16 of an ounce red Roadrunner head already in the vise. I've pre-plucked the tail, so I've kind of cheated there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started and do some base wraps, kind of lay our foundation. Knew that blade was going to get in the way. Now I've got a good foundation there. I'm going to come in here, clip the tag end. Now we're going to lay down our tail, our nice bushy Roadrunner tail. One thing Roadrunner does not skimp on is the tail. They might not do a whole lot of chenille or body, but they love a bushy tail. I'm trying to wrap it good and tight so the tail stays in place. I'm also kind of steering it over here with my hand to make sure I kind of keep it where it needs to be. Okay, got it there, nice and bushy. Now I'm going to come up and trim the top. Alrighty folks, I took a second to trim down some of my fuzzies that were up here at the front with the feathers. Now I'm going to lay down a little bit of glue to try to get this to hold. And then I'm going to start wrapping on our body, or chenille. I absolutely love this Loctite Ultra Gel Control because it goes exactly where you put it. But you do have to be careful because it is serious crap, and if you touch it, you are screwed. It loves the oils in your skin. The oils in your skin act as an accelerator. And yeah, it'll mess you up. Now if I can find the right one, I've already plucked some. That's my tail. My tail's already on. Here's my chenille. I'm sorry folks. I'm going on 36 hours no sleep here. So I've trimmed down, if you can see here, I've trimmed down some of the chenille to the basic thread. That's to kind of give a starter along the front here and wrapping it. So I'm going to take it through, pin it down. If I keep that pesky freaking feather out of the way. Now we're going to start wrapping. I'm not going to do a full second wrap. I'm going to do kind of a 2.5. The reason why is I want to leave that hook with a lot of bite. So I'm going to come around where my chenille is there. Come around once more. Then I'm just going to wind along the same wrap so it's not quite as visible. Get up here to the front and wind it down, trying to take anything that's bunched up here at the front and scoot it back down the bait there like that. Okay, then I'm going to come behind, cut my chenille. The trick is getting enough body. You want enough body on the bait that it's good and visible, but you don't want too much that your hook doesn't have enough clearance, enough bite there. Let me see if I can show you here. See here, we've got the body right up to the bait. I'll try to get a closer view here in a moment, but that's what you want. Now we're going to whip finish this sucker. If I can get that blade out of the way. For those of you who don't know, a whip finishing tool is basically a little half hitch knot tying tool here. It's not the best knot in the world, but it's what's widely used. And with a half hitch tool, if you have the right kind, it can be really easy to tie. And I'll cinch it down good, trying not to bend my hook whenever I do it. As you can see, I've got the glasses off for this one. Even my freaking bifocals aren't cutting it here. I'm getting old. So, I've got a few half hitches. I'm almost done. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to tighten it down good. I'm going to take my scissors and trim some of that thread from where that chenille was. As you can see, maybe right up here at the top. If I get over there, you're not going to be able to see it. It's on my side. Sorry, folks. I got to see it to cut it. Okay, so now for the final little act here, I'm going to take a little bit of super glue. I want to find where that last half hitch cinched down. And I'm going to add just a little bit of glue right there to the head. I think I'm running out of glue. That sucks because I have a few more to go. Okay, so now got the glue on. Going to give it one more tug. Going to try to give it a little bit of accelerate here. We'll cut this bad boy off down there nice and short. And voila. Now, the only thing left is we're going to trim the tail just a little bit here. We want it good and bushy. Roadrunner, they like their tails thick. You know, some guys do too. But we're going to come down here. We're going to cut off some. It'll also make it plume out more when we give it a bit of a trim. Okay. I always say I look like I come out of a strip club when I'm doing skirt layers and I have all the glitter on me. I don't know what the hell I would call a bunch of feathers on me. Maybe I've been messing around with the pimps and all the feather boas. But there you have it, right there. Nice, thick, bushy tail, red, green, yellow, 1/16 of an ounce, Blakemore Roadrunner. They don't make this color anymore. It's one of the best colors that was ever made. Let's face it, colors don't last forever. There's stories all over the place of different companies that have either gone out of business or stopped making a popular color and the fans revolted and got them to start making it again for a short time. That kind of thing. I don't think anyone was itching to bring red, green, yellow back. Now, this was also a popular color in a crappie jig called a flea fly from back in the day. An itty bitty little tiny crappie jig. I had a hell of a lot of red, green, yellow flea flies as well. As a matter of fact, the guy that caught that big crappie that led me to actually throw this that day that I had it tied on, that was like a 1/16 of an ounce flea fly. So yeah, red, green, yellow was really the craze back then. So this little guy is what got me started on my tackle addiction. Bass, crappie, trout, walleye, catfish, all things freshwater. It's what got me started. So there it is, folks, my first. So leave in the comment section what the first lure was that you caught a fish on. If you've yet to catch one by chance, leave that comment too, and maybe I can point you in the right direction. I'll tell you one thing. When it comes to a Roadrunner, it's a darn good place to start. These things will catch white bass, crappie, white bass being sandbass, crappie, largemouth, it'll catch anything. They're fantastic. And once upon a time, they even made them down to 1/64 of an ounce. I mean, an itty bitty little sucker. So, there we have it for today. Thank you for sticking with me. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe. Get you some Blakemore Roadrunners. Get out there on the water and keep it wet.